Greetings and salutations, my beautiful people. Welcome back to more Archie. I guess you call it the Archie Sonic read-through, as I've now officially dubbed it. Today we got a very long part, so I'm not going to waste any time. You'll notice, perhaps even hear some audio in the background. That is some music I've decided to play. It's being played in real time, so that way it ain't gonna be quiet and you'll just have to listen to my voice. So don't worry, I will swap over to some Sonic music in a little bit, but yeah. Anyway, with that said, let's let's go ahead and swap over to some music and let's begin this. Some very appropriate music. Cool. So, let's begin. So, we are officially now into the main series. Archie Sonic, issue number 1. Oh boy, here we go. We got a lot of issues to go through, and I am not looking forward to read all of them. Alright, so let's just begin. So, our first issue. As you can probably expect, the series is going to start off very comedic in nature, so, well, we'll just get through it. So, it starts off with Robotnik hanging what is actually a stuffed Sonic plushie. I guess he collects those. Story, by the way, I don't think I need to mention. Written by Michael Gallagher and drawn by Mr. Dave Manak. Very helpful. You can see the credits down here where my cursor is. So anyway, so Robotnik, as you would expect, is trying to figure out what his next move is going to be. You know, how is he going to defeat the Freedom Fighters and locate Knothole? Well, one of the swap bots comes in with a plant that would be later known as the Krudzu. This, actually the swap bot calls it the Krudzu, but there you go. The Krudzu essentially is a plant-based machine that, well. By the way, can I real quick just mention, I love how he just stops Crab Meat and his swap bot subordinates into a robot disposal. that is so Robotnik. But anyway, yeah, the Krudzu basically is going to be a bit of an infestation for the Freedom Fighters. Speaking of, you know, this was Antoine's phase where he was still kind of, I guess you could say, infatuated with Sally Acorn. He gets out of this eventually, but yeah, just know that this is a thing. It was still a thing as far back as the Saturn series. Okay. So yeah, as Sonic and Sally were planning things, they hear Antoine screaming. They run up and see him getting attacked by the Krudzu. You know, Sonic is Sonic. He gets Antoine out of a bind, quite literally. I love how the Krudzu says "Hiya Toots." Hiya Toots. I love it. I don't know whether to say that's adorable or just too funny. Anyway, speaking of funny, they carry Antoine back into base, and well, Rotor decides to bring out a fucking chainsaw. God damn, Rotor! I mean, obviously it's supposed to be a fake out. He's actually not using it. God, that's a hell of a fake out. Also, I love how he just chops off the end of the table. Anyway, so Rotor's trying to figure out what's going on with this weird plant, and obviously trying to get Antoine out. Tails walks in and decides to basically water the plant, much to everyone's horror. But as it turns out, or rather, hold that thought. Robotnik looks out through his telescope. Obviously, very pleased by his amount of destruction. I do love this bomb set panels here.
And if they stay in the woods, Krudzu will smother them. Either way, Sonic and his friends perish.
Sorry, sometimes I'm so evil, I even scare myself. It's nowhere even near the voice of Robotnik. By the way, if you're wondering which voice for Robotnik I'm going with, I'm going sort of with a mix of Sad AM and Adventures, because basically this is supposed to be, while it is the design of Sad AM Robotnik, it is also supposed to be the the tone is very much the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. In fact, you'll see just how much of that is true. Also, I love how Robotnik is using a telescope, one of those 25 cents look through the telescope kind of things. It's kind of funny. Anyway, next page we see that in actuality, watering the plants was actually a good idea, because what do you know? The Krudzu is actually a robot, and kind of a running gag with Robotnik is that he does not make his robots waterproof. Anyway, Rotor figures it out, and by literal Deus Machina, a rain comes in and just solves all their problems. I love these early issues. They're just so funny. Anyway, next story, B story. You Bet My Life. Sonic, Michael Gallagher once again, and Dave Manak. We're going to be seeing those names for quite a while. The Freedom Fighters are looking at a map before calling Sonic in order to, well, in order to hold up the map, because he is the fastest map folder, apparently. They really rely on him way too much. Also, I love the first battle here. What's trouble? Pollution from nearby robot factories? No. Acres of trees in the Great Forest being chopped down? No. A cave-in somewhere at our secret underground village? No. You forgot to program the VCR? No. Love it. Anyway, as it turns out, Robotnik is up to something. Of course, Sonic's on the case. He heads into the Reno Botnik. Reno Botnik, which is a clever pun on Reno, Reno, Nevada. And as is evident, there are a lot of robots around. Sonic, is going around. I do love how he basically is just Reno. It's kind of funny. Anyway, Sonic. Also, I love this SWAT bot. I love how Sonic just walks in and demanding a table, and Garcon here is just one to pay a tip. Next page he still is. That's funny. Once again, I am thinking this is based off of another Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog episode, because this entire scenario looks kind of familiar. Anyway, Robotic spots Sonic, and he's not quite expecting it, but you know what? It just basically, it's a good thing for him, because guess what? It means he can launch his newest plan. And what happens to that newest plan? Well, it happens to be the introduction of Orbot, or Orbinaut, which I believe it's a late game Sonic enemy. I I believe you see Orbinaut in the original Sonic the Hedgehog, where you see him in Scrap Brain Zone. Anyway, but yeah. Part 1 done, and suddenly Sonic is taken into a literal slot machine, or yeah, slot machine. Is it called a slot machine? No, it's pinball. My bad. Basically a pinball machine, which honestly, why is this reminding me so much of Pokemon pinball? I wish to know. I guess it's because Sonic is just. Also, I love how. Also, this is also reminding me of Casino Park for some reason. Not because, you know, it's a pinball machine. Also, dolphin designs on the flippers. Gotta love it. Sonic comes out. He's looking worse for wear because, you know, he's literally got bounced around. Robotnik is ready to go for another round, but unfortunately, you know, someone's gotta pay the rent, so he needs 50 cents. Oh wait, never mind. I completely misread that. Essentially, the swap out alerts Robotnik that that someone had won 50 cents in the casino. That's kind of funny. Of course, Robotnik does not buy to that because it's like, oh, you know, if anyone wins in this house, then I'm gonna smash them. Nobody wins in this house except for me. Love it. Anyway, Robotnik goes for another round. Love this top-down view. And oh no, as it turns out, Sonic managed to weaken the glass just enough to free himself. So he starts wrecking the place, and what do you know? That's just it. Sonic does leave Robotnik with one last little gift before sending Mr. Fatso flying. And with that, you know, all's well that ends well. Give me a quick sec and I'll see you in the next issue, but I gotta do something real quick. So, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I had to do something real quick because, yeah, I just realized I had something open that I do not think YouTube is going to appreciate, so yeah, had to get rid of that later in post. Hopefully I do, but anyway, don't question it, okay? Anyway, back to the comic. You literally didn't miss anything. Issue 2, Wanted, Sonic the Hedgehog. Join Robotnik's rats. We squeal for real. I love it. Anyway, as is normal, Mike Gallagher, Dave Manak, you know the team. Robotnik is enjoying some darts with the face of his nemesis, but as you can probably tell, we have the comic called Triple Trouble. And before you think it's gonna be something about Sonic 3, no. No. But, however, we do get introduced to a familiar character for anyone who has played Sonic, or rather has watched The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm sure many people will recognize this character as Coconuts. Yeah. So for those that don't know, Coconuts, along with two other characters who will be meeting in this very comic, was Robotnik's main offensive force for Sonic. Coconuts doesn't appear in nearly as many episodes, but he does appear on occasion to, you know, cause trouble for Sonic and Tails. So, you know, that is a thing. Anyway, as Sonic and Tails are basically going about their day, they suddenly get hit by a bomb. Only it misses, of course, but leaves a massive hole. And then they get met up by Coconuts. And, you know, he's causing trouble, as is customary of any sort of monkey. He makes a monkey out of Sonic and Tails. But they are, However, they are able to make a monkey out of him, of course. You know, Coconut is not very bright, in case you can tell, and blow him up, and bring him back, But of course, this last panel introduces us to our next two antagonists. One certain Grounder and Scratch and Grounder. So, I'm sure the names Scratcher and Grounder also, these are the more prominent minions of Robotnik in Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. As you can probably guess, these guys are essentially a couple of dungheads. They are very, very awful at their job. But, you know, it's honestly surreal seeing the Saturday Robotnik with two of the dumbest minions in Sonic lineup. Anyway. Yeah, these guys... If you really want an idea of how this goes, it's basically an Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog thing, where, you know, Scratch and Grounder are trying to, you know, find a way to get rid of Sonic. I love. Oh, but I do love this last panel in this particular page though. This is actually kind of funny. Let's see. You bet. Let's see. Sonic tells Tails to head back to Nahol. I love the three options are to let Princess Sally know about them because I said so, or to allow the artist more room to draw. I am going to do something here real quick. Yeah, edit image real quick. Let's see. What would I put here? I guess. Marker. Where's? How do I use this thing? I've never used this. Shit. How do I? Hold on. I got a better idea. I have a better idea. Forget me, this is like a waste of time, but, you know, this is important. Here we go. This is important to me now, okay? So, here is my official answer in case you wanted to know. This is what I would choose. I don't care, it's like way too late to add this, but I don't care. Because I said so. Alright, back to the comic now. I'm done being silly. Anyway, so yeah, Sonic basically does Sonic things, you know, he basically brings the duo down. Hello, Photos Mia engine, go away, I don't care. Yeah, Sonic sends them crashing down, and I love this panel of Grounder literally just grabbing Sonic and just bringing him down, just boom! I love it. But, of course, Sonic is not going down. Of course, these two love to... I love how incompetent they are. They can't decide on who actually caught Sonic, so they just argue over it. And of course, Sonic decides to make a quick little fissure. And wouldn't you know it, the ground crumbles below them, and unfortunately, they are just beaten. There you go. Kind of a lax chapter, if I must say. Should note that we will not be seeing Coconut's Grounder or Scratch for a long time. Like, by the time we get there, we'll be like a little over 100 and I want to say like almost like a little over 200 chapters in or issues in this comic. We're not seeing them for a long time. Nose is bleeding now. God damn it. Anyway, Mike Gallagher, Dave Menard on Vertigo A Go-Go. Hope you don't mind Vertigo. This one's interesting because it actually introduces two characters who actually show up much later in the comic. And I'm not just talking for a cameo either. These guys do show up again, twice over actually. So anyway, Sonic collecting power rings to power himself up. He hits a spring, which I am curious if that spring is a reference to something besides obviously the springs from Sonic and Sonic games where Sonic gets sprung, duh. But yeah, Sonic gets sent to another zone, and just so happens to be the home of one certain Vertical and Horizontal, also known as Cal and Al. Cal and Al are interesting as they are characters who live basically live in this unusual pocket dimension, we'll call it. They mostly appear in another comic later on, or they appear in in issues later on where let's just say certain things happen and it really screws them up pretty bad. Anyway, they begin antagonizing Sonic in a way I can only imagine as fun, mostly for them. And it is kind of weird. Like, this has definitely got some Saturday morning cartoon energy here, because it's like, good God. Also, for some reason, Sonic and these two are basically now just I really don't know what's going on. Anyway, eventually they send Sonic back, and I genuinely don't know anymore. Anyway, Sonic gets kicked out, and yeah, their response, and yeah. I love how Antoine says "What's up?" and Sonic just immediately chases him. God, this has like I said, this has like so much energy. Anyway, okay, I don't know why I copied this. I guess I thought it was still part of the comic. Whoops. Don't mind that. It's just an extra. Don't worry about it. Anyway, issue number 3. We now have Sonic and Tails. I love how they immediately check the comics before I even want to. I mean, what if I want to read the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I mean, did you consider that, Sonic? Did you not consider that? Anyway, The Bomb Bugs Me by Michael Gallagher and Dave Manek. Yeah. Also, I love how Mike's name is spelled McKillicuddy. Anyway, Sonic runs so fast the feed is literally seconds behind. That's funny. Anyway, Sonic is sent in a mission to investigate what Robotnik's up to. Seems like he has an unusual bomb ready, and this frightens Sonic because it's like, oh my gosh, the forest is now legitimately in danger. So anyway, so yeah, Sonic basically relays the news. Sally and Rotor suspect the worst. It's basically a nuke that will basically destroy everyone in the Great Forest. Oh, I love the gravestones. I love how Uncle Chuck and Muskie are at the front. I believe this is our, yeah, by the way, pay attention to the Uncle Chuck, cameos, by the way, name only, of course. Uncle Chuck and Muskie won't be appearing for quite some time, so get used to only them being name dropped. Anyway, Sally and Rotor are pretty much giving up right away, but Sonic gets an idea of what to do. I love how they immediately protest as if that's gonna work. I love how they just put a protest. It's kind of funny. Anyway, Robotnik notices the protest and assembles his Swapbot squad and attacks! Only to hell wall. And as it turns out, it was just a projector. But yeah, in the next shot, we suddenly have Robotnik confronting Sonic and Sally. Only to turn out it's actually Rotor. Rotor is actually disguised as Robotnik. Oh boy. Love it. Anyway, Rotor goes in as Robotnik. He has to basically try and keep him. He has to basically keep up this impression. He commands Crabmeat, or rather asks Crabmeat to bring the bomb. And what you know it, Crabmeat does get the bomb. Rotor, as Robotnik, goes in and comes back out with the package of the bomb. However, as it turns out, it's actually Robotnik in disguise. But okay, I don't even know how to describe these next few panels. Like, okay, so it's basically like almost a parody of a parody of a parody, as we have a bit of a face-off. Robotnik Rotor pulls off Robotnik mask, but then Robotnik pulls off Rotor mask, Robotnik mask, Rotor mask. It's just like, what the absolute heck is going on? Sonic basically says exactly what I'm saying right now, and just decides, screw this. I'm just gonna fast forward this a little bit. Robotnik and Rotor are practically dizzy, but now they can both now see who's who, as they take Rotor and the bomb away. But as it turns out, the bomb in general is actually just basically bug spray, and of course it's because his office is filled with bugs and flies, and Robotnik just utters the oh so famous phrase of
"I hate that hedgehog!"
Anyway, this next story is actually kind of interesting and actually very relevant, because guess what? It introduces everyone's fan favorite rabbit cyborg Bunny Rabot deployment. So yeah, Sonic runs in, of course, as usual. Three of them chat, but fine. Oh, right, it's supposed to be Robotnik making his way through, and basically Sonic decides to take Boomer, as he's still called, by the way. He didn't changed his name to Rotor yet, but yeah, he's yeah, he takes Boomer over to the site where Robotnik is supposedly, and they find a couple of swap bots capturing a poor bunny who is just you know, collecting carrots. And before you think, you know, that, you know, I'm being unspecific, that is actually her name, Bunny Rabbot, or as she's later called by Mr. Flynn, Bunny Rabot. Okay, so I kind of so I feel like I need to preface this. Bunny actually, this won't be relevant until way later, but there was actually an idea by one certain writer for Archie called Carl Bowlers. In that time, Carl wanted to name this character Bunny. He basically wanted to name Bunny Scarlet O'Hare. I don't know why Ian just didn't stick to that name. It sounds a little better than Bunny Rabot. I mean, I like Bunny as a you know, as a nickname. You know, Bunny Rabot as a nickname, but now calling her Bunny Rabot is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of confusing. I know her as Bunny Rabot, it's not Bunny Rabot. I mean, I get it, it's supposed to be Southern, I get it, but it still sounds weird to me, even as a Southerner. I would love to know Ian Flynn's whole thought process, because I'm sure he's had, like, Carl's notes somewhere. Anyway, it's not until later, by the way. Anyway, Sonic gets snagged by Rotor's literal weight. Sonic gets himself free, and of course, decapitates these swap bots. I love how he just literally decapitates them. Jesus! That is wrong! Anyway, Sonic smashes into the roboticizer and sees Bunny already half roboticized. You can see her arm there is just half roboticized. She gets pulled out, and yeah, she's been roboticized. Her right arm is now roboticized. Her right arm is roboticized, and so is the bottom half of her body. So, there's plenty I could talk about here right now, but I think I'll save those notes until later. Let's just say that this becomes a blessing in disguise. Her getting roboticized becomes a blessing in disguise on top of many other things. Oh, did I mention who wrote this? I'm pretty sure it's still Mike Gallagher. But anyway, Sonic and Rotor bring Bunny back to base. By the way, probably one of the few times you'll see Sally with the throne. You know, she's a princess. Of course, she's supposed to have her royal acorn throne. But, you know, but yeah, Sally gets introduced to Bunny, and, well, Bunny shows her stuff as she's basically a juggernaut, to put it in simply. Like, she is a literal juggernaut because of her robotics. So, essentially using Robotnik's tech against him, in other words. Kind of funny. Anyway, Antoine runs in, saying that a giant Burrowbot is now making his way to Knothole. Sonic goes out. Bunny joins him. I love how Sonic almost gets crushed. It's just too funny. Anyway, Sonic goes to engage. Doesn't quite go as well as he thinks it does, but Bunny, of course, is coming in for the save, lifts up the Burrowbot, and just smashes him onto the ground. Love it. I love it. Seriously, this is why Bunny is MVP for everyone. She is just awesome. Okay, Sonic decides to finish him off and creates another, another fissure, which basically engulfs Burlbot. Bunny then, from here on, becomes a Free on Fire officially, and yeah, we'll be seeing more of her as time goes on, but unfortunately, in these first 10 issues, don't expect her to appear beyond this particular set of stories. I forget why I brought this one in, but I believe the reason I did is because I just want to show that, yes, Sonic is quite literally goes so fast that he can talk to himself through the phone. I don't know why I felt the need to show it off, but yeah, it's just kind of funny. Oh yeah, and this one's actually kind of funny because this is this actually references Sally's blonde and brunette debacle. It's kind of funny, I do love how Sally just puts on a crown and just immediately abuses her authority. This is Sally way back before her characterization, so you kind of gotta get used to it. It's just too funny. But yeah, apparently Sally did not like the headlines of that issue of Novel Inquisitor. And this last one is just kind of neat. It's Robotnik holding up his sign. It's basically the no fun, but more explicit. And also, I just love to say no fun. No laughing, no exercising, no singing, no friends, no plants, no pets, no music, no fun, no books, no healthy food, no complaining about my rules. I are Ivo Robotnik. I do love it. It's kind of cute. Anyway, issue 4. We're blasting through these because I've got like a bunch of issues to go through, and the last episode was about an hour. This is going to take me quite a while. Also, I love I love how they call this particular issue the grittier, darker Sonic the Hedgehog. No comic, we're not even close to that. Anyway, Michael Gallagher, Dave Manak, the usual. Robotnik is once again wanting another plan to destroy Sonic. The SWAT bots are bringing in some kind of crate, and it looks like something big is coming out. I'm getting like Jurassic Park vibes here. Anyway, Robotnik is just ready to see what comes out. What comes out? A tiny little lizard. Or rather, a salamander. My bad. Anyway, the SWAT bots are pretty much demoted to... The SWAT bots are pretty much demoted to, being scrap parts, essentially. It's a slack chop is, you know what it is. Anyway, Robotnik prepares to roboticize the lizard, and, well, let's just say the Buzz Bomber, hits a wrong switch when going for the AC, and turns the tiny salamander into the Universal Salamander. And kind of bad news for Robotnik. The Free Fires obviously get news of the Universe Salamander as Sonic goes to fight him. Sees Robotnik running away before Sonic decides to go and engage in a fight with the Universe Salamander and gets eaten. Love it. Sonic begins to try. So as Sonic, I love that first line. Sonic the Hedgehog will be scavenged. That's avenged and won. I apologize to my French viewers for that. Also, I love how they just. Can I just note? I didn't even notice this when looking at the panel the first time. They are quite literally playing this footage through a arcade machine. It cost 25 cents. Kind of horrible. Anyway, so the Universe Salamander is suddenly having a bit of a problem with his meal, as Sonic is quite literally causing a ruckus, eventually leading to Sonic getting literally burped out. Of course, the Universe Salamander does not like being toyed with, so he tries to smash Sonic. And is this probably the first? So this is actually our first time being brought into what is considered a special zone. Now, this is interesting because we actually don't... So, okay, I'm gonna level with me here, ladies and gentlemen. The Chaos Emeralds work a little differently in this game than they do in the actual Sonic games. You know how in the Sonic games there are 7 multicolored gems in the games? Well, the Chaos Emeralds in this canon are somewhere in the billions, let's say. Yeah, and they're all green as well. Like they're not multicolored. They're all green Chaos Emeralds, and there are billions of them. Of course, Sonic here asks the kid reading the comic to play their Genesis and, you know, gather rings to get the Chaos Emeralds. You know how the special zones work. Anyway, once Sonic collects all 50 rings, and of course the 7 Chaos Emeralds, he becomes Super Sonic. I'm sure many of us are familiar with how Super Sonic works. Basically 50 rings, you are pretty much invulnerable to anything aside from hits and getting crushed. Those are the only real things that can kill Super Sonic. But otherwise, you are pretty much invincible. Super Sonic defeats the Universe Salamander and comes back. Still in its super state, by the way. Like, seriously, I don't know. Like, seriously, I guess you could say that fight literally was only like a few seconds at most, so he still has like a lot of time on his counter. Oh no, my bad. He gets a shrink ray, shrinks down the Universe Salamander, and then just outright crushes him. Okay, never mind. But you know. But anyway, Super Sonic does still come by. It's kind of funny. Anyway, the story, Tails' Little Tale. This one's a little story featuring our little buddy Tails as Sonic takes a snooze. Tails, you know, goes out on his own adventure, not noticing Ivo right in the background, and having a little picnic, I guess you could say. Ivo sends out his badniks and some of them happen to spot Tails. Orbonaut pretty much tries to knock down Tails, but Tails isn't going to go down quite that easily. I love this fourth bound here. What a glorious victory! I'm undefeated! I'm the Michael Jordan of freedom fighters! Oh boy. But yeah. Tails here gets a little too big for his britches, and he basically is walking into what is to be quite literally his own doom. And you know what? It turns out to be exactly that. Tails runs in, tries to fight Robot. Also, I love this little bit of play here. So you can kind of see it a little bit. The shape here, it looks a little bit like the classic Robotnik, game Robotnik. It's not actually the Ivo Robotnik that we're all familiar with. This is kind of a funny little detail, like it's a literal puppet show. Anyway, although this guy calls it a cow, which is funny. Anyway, Swapbots take Tails, of course, prime opportunity, might as well robot as a freedom fighter. For the glory of Dr. Robotnik. Anyway, Sonic shows up, save the day. You know, the usual. And that's it for issue 4. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna breeze that one. Issue 5. Sonic is making a blaze trail, isn't he? Oh, boy. God, I'm talking my ass off here. Jesus Christ. Ooh. Scans on these ones are not as good. But, oh well. Olympic Trials and Errors by a new writer. As far as I know, I wasn't paying attention too much, but I assume the last few issues have been written by Michael Gallagher. Here we have a new writer for the Sonic comic, Mr. Angelo DeCesare, I believe is his last name. And of course, Dave Manak did the art, of course. I don't know Angelo's history. I probably should have researched this before I went in, but yeah, new writer Angelo DeCesare. I feel like he did I think he's the storyboard artist for Sonic Sadio, I feel like. Either that or The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, one of the two. But maybe it wasn't. I'm gonna have to look back on. I'm gonna have to do research I'm gonna have to do research after the fact. But anyway, Sonic and Tails are playing a game of baseball with Sonic by himself. That is until they run into the Robotnik Stadium, where, you know, Robotnik is holding his own Olympics. No, this is not Sonic in the Olympic Games. Or rather, this is the earliest. Anyway. So, you know, Swap By basically taunts Sonic and Tails into basically accepting a competition with Robotnik. And of course, loser wins. If the Free Fires lose, then, you know, Naho is doomed. Yada yada, you get the idea. But if the Free Fires win, Robotnik will, you know, surrender himself, you know. But, yeah, no, Sally, of course, is not buying it. He pretty much knows, you know, she knows that Robotnik's not going to keep his word. I love the last panel. See what I mean? With Antoine obviously trying to be like Zorro. Oh, what a weirdo. Anyway, Tails, you know, Tails doesn't have any special talents. So he gets, so basically, let's see. Alright. Oh yeah, Antoine basically says that, you know, Tails isn't going to be too useful with athletics. Funny that, by the way. So yeah, Tails feels dejected and kind of leaves. Not quite. But, of course, makes himself a little bit, but cheers up, you know, as he tries and finds other ways to be useful. But, meanwhile, at the Olympics, Robotnik reveals that he swapped out Sonic's shoes for a different pair that will drain his energy, essentially. Yeah, this is basically the plot of Sonic Labyrinth, I just realized. That's quite literally the plot lines of Sonic Labyrinth. By the way, I also want to point out Sonic's feet. You rarely see Sonic's feet, so enjoy them while you can. You're never going to see them again. At least not for a long time. Anyway, the Olympics are ready to begin. Sonic's ready to ace things, and unfortunately for him, and unfortunately for the Free Fires, Sonic passes out because his energy is just all gone. What a shame. Antoine basically says that they're all doomed. So, I love the scoreboard here in this particular frame. Scoreboard. Them, losers. Us, winners. Which one's us? Which one's them? I'm not sure. I feel like the scoreboard's rigged. Anyway, Sally calls out Robotnik for his... Calls out... basically calls out for, oh, right, Sally is trying to, basically challenges Robotnik, saying that if Sonic can't compete, then Antoine, her, and Rotor will take his place. Rotor is a little reluctant, obviously, because, it's like, oh, yeah, because, Robotnik's like, oh, yes, I'm going to enjoy your struggle against my greatest elites of minions. So, yeah, thus begin the Olympics officially, with Antoine fighting against one of those bunny hoppers, Sally doing swim competition, not quite a good swimmer against an Octobot, and Rotor lifting weights, only for Swapbot to outlift him. Gotta love it. Which leads down to the final competition, the win-all, be-all, basically the winner-take-all Olympic race against a Buzz Bomber. Tails is in the junkyard, basically getting materials for a sculpture he wants to build. It was mentioned in an earlier panel. Finds Sonic's shoes and immediately gets the shoes back to Sonic right away. Antoine, of course, is unable to be faster than a Buzz Bomber, so yeah, things are not looking so hot for him. Sally is pretty much giving up hell until Sonic appears, and well, he's back to normal. Sonic goes to distract the Buzz Bomber. Of course, Buzz Bomber gets hit by a smoke screen by Sonic because of him running around. Immediately gets taken back to the starting line because there's only enough to lean to Antoine to win. Robotnik, of course, goes back on his word and he tries to roboticize everyone anyway. But of course, Sonic's not having it, so Sonic just destroys the machine, thus saving everyone. Okay, take a break for a moment. So, as you can probably tell, a lot of these comics are kind of all over the place. I am dead serious, these are just all over the place. Anyway, so Sonic, so B-Story, Rotor has ordered an ant farm, supposed to be your very own ant farm. He tries to, or rather he wants to get his own ant farm. This actually comes back later, believe it or not, this ant farm thing, but, Rotor sends in mail for one, but it gets intercepted, or rather, it turns out to be a phony for the ant farm. I'm going to be honest. Did Rotor put in a false positive address? Because Robotnik know the location of Null from the address Rotor put in. I don't know. Weird stuff. Anyway, Robotnik instead sends them a different kind of present. Instead of an ant farm, they get a termite. And not just any termite, a Robotnik-made termite. Called the Terminator. The Terminator, I love it. The Terminator. Also love the pure purple. You gotta love the pure purple Rotor there. Kinda cool. Actually, is this like the... No, I mean, it's called Boomer earlier. I don't think it's the first time he's been called. I don't think he was starting being called Rotor yet. Anyway, Terminator is causing a lot of issues as he's now growing. Like he's going to be growing quite a bit. Nobody is quite sure what to do because Null is pretty much in danger now because if he eats all of Null, yeah, it's kind of a problem. So Sonic decides to whip up something different decides to whip up a little thing. This little thing, of course, is a bowl of what was seen in the first few panels. Sonic decides to feed the Terminator the piece of wood with this stuff on. Turns out Sally's pancake batter actually works. It's called pancake batter. There you go. So anyway, Rover finds out that the thing was made in Robotropolis and, well, decides to reprogram it to eat metal. So there you go.
Feed him more metal before he eats us! Before he eats us all!
Decided to, you know, get myself a soda. Love it. Anyway. Okay. This is interesting. So, this is interesting. This is our first, I believe our first video game adaptation comic. Kind of interesting. So, Mike Gallagher is back as the story writer. Dave Manak, you know the drill. The Spin Doctor. So, Sonic and the Free Empires. Oh yeah, you do see Bunny in this particular comic. Okay, well, cameo appearance, Bunny. The Free Empires are off to fight Robotnik, only to find out that his factory has been basically shut down, seemingly. But it turns out that Robotnik had just simply moved locations. Sally says that it's a trap, but you know, Sonic, he doesn't care. Sonic heads over and finds himself in what looks to be the Sonic Spinball location, in which, you know, Robotnik is obviously playing deadly traps and all. Sonic runs across the tracks. Robotnik is very certain that Sonic will not be able to get across his multitude of traps. Now, of note in this particular page, I want to note how they adapted that one fucking boss as like horrifying in the actual games. Like, holy shit! Like, I don't want to wake up and find a literal, like, whatever this thing is, Scorpionic right beside me, because I feel like I would just die from a heart attack. Anyway, Sonic deals with the dragon and the thing rather easily, mocking Robotnik along the way as he goes around and doing Sonic things. More traps. Sonic gets through it. Robotnik is getting very furious, obviously. Sonic hears some unusual noises and finds a bunch of animals, or a bunch of Mobians rather, in a cage. Sonic gets ready to smash them out until suddenly he's attacked by the Not Crudzu. The Not Crudzu. He then heads in through a passage to the obvious to Robotnik. Not, of course. I love it. But yeah. Yeah, so this kinda ends off with Sonic getting spat out from the volcano, and it basically just kinda ends there. This volcano does not show up ever again in the actual comics. I think apparently this was not popular enough because as you see there, write to Sonic Grams if you want to see more Spinball. I guess it wasn't popular enough to warrant a sequel to this, because, yeah, no one wrote. Oh boy, Christmas Carol. Well, I hope you guys are ready for a parody. Charles Dickens wrote a Christmas... Yes, Charles Dickens wrote a Christmas Carol in 1843. So, yeah, this is... So, once again, we have another story by Angelo De Cesare and Dave Manak, of course, you know, the usual. We have essentially just a Christmas Carol parody here. Robotnik playing Scrooge, Rotor, you know, the usual. Robotnik is basically, well, Robotnik obviously is turning, Scrooge Robotnik, is turning everyone into robots, so, you know, robotization, you know the drill. Here he says bah humbots instead of bah humbug. Or bah humbug. Gotta love these parodies. Anyway, of note of this particular issue is the introduction to Snively. Yes, this is Snively, our first Snively appearance in the entire comic. And of all things, it's it's in a parody. Oh, you gotta love it. It's kind of shocking to see. It's kind of surreal seeing Snively here instead of, you know, Robotnik's usual. And it's okay. So what do I mean by that? So obviously Snively is like the number 2, you know, his sidekick, Robotnik's sidekick in Sadium. It's weird having the Sadium Robotnik not have Snively constantly by his side. Basically acting like the, you know, Starscream in a way. So anyway, Snively is basically acting like the ghost of his partner, his business partner, who died. You know, coming back saying, "You're going to be visited by 3 ghosts." Ooh. Anyway, Robotnik is not really convinced until eventually until he gets awoken by the ghost of Christmas past. Or, you know, as he mistakenly calls himself, the ghost of Christmas fast. I love Sonic as the ghost. It's funny. Anyway, so we get brought back to the past once again to another non-canon thing, because obviously Robotnik is not quite. But so we'll be getting into canon later. But yeah, Robotnik here is, you know, helping Uncle Chuck and Sonic decorate a tree. Also, another cameo by good old Uncle Chuck. Robotnik decides to do the evil deed of destroying the Christmas tree before Robotnik is just stopped. Robotnik is taken back to his present before eventually dunking his head in what I can only assume be eggnog. Oh, speaking of present, by the way, Ghost of Christmas Present is here, and we see what can only be assumed to be a, you know, it can only be assumed to be... By the way, there's Mutsky. What's Mutsky doing there? Also, Uncle Chuck, hi, how are you? Anyway, bomb. Hope you like bombs, because that's a bomb turkey. Which has a bomb turkey. Anyway, Robotnik is taken to the future, in which, you know, Robotropolis has now become, you know, a desolate wasteland. And he meets his older self. He laughs, but, you know, it's as it seems, you know, this war constantly happened, you know, everyone's just miserable, even Robotnik, and it's just, you know, it's brought all kinds of misery, but until it's shown that Robotnik is still at it, even as an old man. He basically dunks on the friggin' Ghost of Christmas Future, and, you know, Even as old men, Robotnik and Sonic are having their back and forth. That is until until the bomb turkey comes in and boom, you know the drill. So, but it turns out to be all be a dream. Sonic wakes up and happy holidays. You know the drill. I don't have much commentary for this. It's just, you know, it's a parody. I like it. Snidley also appears, which is kind of nice. Anyway, next issue number 7. Rotor. Tails and Rotor are having some fun with a seesaw. Until, you know, Rotor sends Tails through the ceiling, quite literally, and a map drops. A map drops on Rotor's head, which basically gives him a little, you know. Basically, it leads to Uncle Chuck's greatest treasure. I wonder what that would be. Yeah, just a reminder, Uncle Chuck is roboticized right now. Wasn't in the last episode, but he kind of is now, so... Anyway. I'm actually kind of curious one thing. Yes, right here. I want to note now, Rotor is now called Rotor in this chapter. In this issue. I believe it was still called Boomer until last issue, but yeah, now they start calling him Rotor from here on. Oh yeah, I feel like I should probably mention that the script was written by Angelo Desisare and Dave Manak. You know, there's only like a few artists, but it's going to be between Mike Gallagher and Angelo Desisare, at least until later. We'll get into it later. Anyway, the group head out to the Mobius National Park, or Natural Park, but find that the Natural Park has pretty much been turned into a desolate wasteland thanks to Robotnik's pollution. Swapbots spot the Freedom Fighters and go to alert good old Robotnik. And wouldn't you know it, Robotnik wastes no time showing up to ruin Sonic's day. Sonic and Freedom Fighters, you know, scatter and hide out. Robotnik is basically on the hunt. So, you know, Sonic basically just starts rescuing people. Melts poor Burrowbot's like nose. Like, Jesus, that's kind of cruel. You know, Rotor is kidnapped by a couple of Swapbots. Swapbots get distracted by Robot. Immediately follow Sonic imitating Robotnik's command. That's funny. That's actually kind of hilarious. I'm wondering how well Sonic's impression of Robotnik is. Because he's known the guy for years. Anyway, Buzz Bomber is ready to stab a girl with his little stinger until Sonic and Sally basically pull a oil slick maneuver. The group eventually find the treasure, and what does the treasure turn out to be? It just turns out to be baby Sonic's baby shoes. It's kind of cute. Halloween episode. Before we get into the Halloween episode, I think I need to go use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. Music change. Hope you guys like it. Anyway, according to my timer, we are only an hour into this. Jeez. I've been kind of speeding through these comments. I apologize, but you know, we haven't necessarily hit anything major that I want to talk about. But yeah. Anyway, however, I don't want to talk about this. I love how Rotor is basically a report card. Tails is a two-tailed skunk. Sonic is Poison Ivy, and Jordan is the devil or demon. It's funny. Anyway, Sally's a witch. This is just a Halloween episode. Sally picks up a wooden stick and happens to accidentally cause forces of nature to happen by pure chance. Robotnik sees this and immediately falls in love. Back off, Robotnik. Sally's taken. Anyway, Sally is just maybe a little angry at the fact that, you know, her magic doesn't work, obviously. I mean, you know, why wouldn't it? But anyway, Sally Slump is basically a little disappointed, but is quickly startled by none other than Robotnik, who does not immediately recognize it's Sally in a witch outfit. He comes in, basically proposing his love for her, before immediately taking her to Robotropolis, because, you know. By the way, I like how he's immediately, you know, breaking one of his rules from earlier. No singing. I guess it's only fine when he does it. Anyway, assembly at the Robotnik Hall. Basically, he's wanting to marry Sal, the witch, because, you know, he wants to use her magical powers against the three empires. But as it turns out, you know, he doesn't quite know that she's not actually magical, and he tries to force a demonstration of her magical powers. Of course, this leads into Sonic having to save the day by basically making this into an excuse to basically beat the crap out of poor Robotnik. Also, this is one of those cases where Sonic just kind of makes up abilities as the story goes. He does not actually go invisible at all in the game, so don't think he can. This is just kind of a weird case of, yeah, the plot makes up these abilities as the plot demands. Anyway, Robotnik immediately goes back on the wedding and wants to destroy, you know, Sally the witch. Sally realizes that it's Sonic. Sonic, of course, apologizes but, of course, you know. And, you know, Sally's appreciative before immediately bashing her in his head. Oh, ouch. You gotta hate when a woman's angry. Kinda cute. Anyway, next one. This is an interesting little comic book cover for issue 8. You have, I appreciate you can immediately recognize a few of the references here. You got Captain America, the foot of Captain America there, and his shield. You got Batman's arm with a batarang. You have Hell Rider there with his flaming skull. You got Wolverine and his claw, and Spider-Man with his webby hand. I don't know who the one holding the gun is, or the chain it's coming from, but yeah, this is kind of funny. Mike Gallagher, Dave Manak, you know, the team. One of Robotnik's swap eyes finds crab meat with a collection of comic book, Sonic the Hedgehog comic books. I wonder what issue he was just reading before his collection was, discovered. Robotnik is clearly frustrated because, you know, no reading. No wonder his minions disobey. But no readings. Oh, they don't have to read the fucking. Yeah, you get it. That's funny, actually. Anyway, Robotnik basically puts crab meat through a bot disassembler along with a swap bot, but you know, Robotnik decides to hatch in a plan, a secret plan. So, you know, Robotnik goes about his usual day until Sonic comes in, ruins his day, and, well, he calls in the bat signal. Or rather, the bot signal, as he brings in Botman! Clever little, an obvious little reference to Batman, obviously. with the bat signal and all. So yeah, Sonic isn't quite too impressed. Gloves are off. He basically tries to fight Botman, but it doesn't end very well for him, as Botman immediately just, put his foot on Sonic. He's basically won. Next page, Botman is still has his foot on Sonic. He's basically, top man, until Crabmeat finds a bunch of spare parts, and it turns out he's been gutted. Botman, that is. I love your ad here, by the way. I actually want to see if there was any more references. Oh no, it was just that. Your ad here, I love it. Anyway, it turns out that Botman has been defeated, but Robotnik still has a bunch of plans, and his next robot is a certain Claude Man. I can't quite read the cover, the title. I think it says something about Wolverine or something. I don't know. Anyway, it turns out he's instead made a Wolverine, which is basically Sonic's original voice actor. Yeah, for those that are wondering, Steve Urkel, this guy here. Steve Urkel was Sonic's original voice actor for The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog and SatAM and even Sonic Underground. And so, yeah, this is the original voice actor for Sonic. Kind of funny that they brought in that little reference. Jaleel, I'm actually kind of curious. By the way, they also made mention of, Jaleel White being, Sonic's original voice actor. Funny that. Anyway, next up we have the Spawn Mower. Funny that, considering what happens later, but yeah, we have the Spawn Mower. It's kind of badass, not gonna lie. But, of course, Spawn Mower, no match for Sonic. Immediately gets trashed. Robotnik then sends out the next few minions, his next few robots. Obviously, they are no match. Although I do like the, I do like the references. You got Magbot, you got Captain Marbot, and then Mightybot. I don't know what the Mightybot is about. I don't know what Magbot's about, but I know, the obvious catchphrase is Shazam. It's obviously supposed to be like Captain. It's supposed to be, it's supposed to be Shazam. The kid transforms into a superhero through a magic word. Anyway, Sonic's pretty much has had enough. So, but he slips, and Robotnik takes the opportunity to just, run away. And that's basically it for that issue. Next up is A Little Sonic Goes a Long Way with Mike Gallagher with script, Dave Manak, you know the drill. Sonic's playing his guitar. He's basically, he's just having a fun time, but Angela's trying to prove he's a better man by singing. But anyway, Sonic's music travels all the way to Robotropolis, basically alerting Robotnik of music as his speakers are tapped, basically, by music. Anyway, putting that to the side. Hey look, another appearance by none other than Snivelly! Hey! Snivelly! How's it going, buddy? How are you? Anyway, Snivelly comes in with a brand new device, which will shrink things to miniature size, according to Snivelly. Robotnik is, he basically wants to get rid of the, Now, while I'm on this particular page, and I do apologize, I know I've been all over the place, and I know my commentary is, sputtering out of control. Welcome to, basically me. Welcome to me, basically, doing this unscripted, but, it is what it is. You'll notice that this is actually the first mention of the Forbidden Zone right here. Yeah, this is our first mention of the Forbidden Zone. It happens to be between Robotropolis and the Great Forest. We'll get back to the Forbidden Zone, but yeah. Anyway. So, Robotnik begins to cook up a plan, and well, he plans on using the device to shrink the Freedom Fighters. The Freedom Fighters gather at the Mobius Concert Hall, basically wanting to get some more instruments so they can play with Sonic. I love how we got Beethoven there. That's kind of funny. Wagner, all kinds of a few little nods to music. No trespassing, IR, Ivo Robotnik, duh. Anyway, Freedom Fighters are shrunk down. Robotnik comes in with a vacuum. He's ready to roboticize them. Sonic manages to get away and clogs up the vacuum cleaner, Robotnik's vacuum cleaner, or vacuum roboticizer. The Freedom Fighters get away, but Sonic does Sonic things. You know how he is. He wrecks Robotnik's machine, but of course Robotnik comes prepared with an extra portable Robo Maker, which is kind of funny. Sucks in Sonic, gets ready to roboticize Sonic, but his weapon is knocked out of his hand by a flying object caused by this thing. I forget what it's called, but yeah. Robotnik is a bit furious by being interrupted by from roboticizing Sonic, but unfortunately for him, the Freedom Fighters return back to normal size. Sonic included. Robotnik is, Robotnik, of course, is not, he's not ready to call it quits yet, as he signals his badniks to basically come and destroy the Concert Hall. But Sonic decides to give Robotnik a nice little gift in the form of music. Robotnik leaves. Well, is forced to leave. And a bit later, Sonic decides to shrink down all of the badniks that Robotnik called earlier. It infuriates him, obviously. Next issue. Actually kind of funny, this one. This one's kind of funny because this one's the introduction of Pseudo Sonic. So, Pseudo Sonic, actually kind of interesting. So Pseudo Sonic, I believe, is a character from The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. This was like the earliest Metal Sonic in the entire series, aside from Silver Sonic, of course, which was introduced in Sonic 2, which is where Tails comes from. This was like one of the earliest Metal Sonics in the entire series, which is actually kind of funny. Robotnik is, of course, plotting what to do next. He eventually, of course, he decides to make one of his. Take a moment to catch my breath here. So it creates Pseudo Sonic, basically one of the first Metal Sonics we're going to be seeing for quite some time. But he makes Pseudo Sonic just a little, he's still got a few bugs to kink out before he's ready. Meanwhile, Antoine is on guard, Sonic disturbs them and decides to head out to get some flowers for Sally. We soon meet up with him in the field, but yeah. We also get met up with this character by the name of Betty Butterfly. She never appears ever in the game ever again, by the way. She's here. But she reveals that the field he's standing in is poisoned sumac blossoms, which cause Sonic to itch really bad. And yeah, swollen Sonic. Oh, by the way, I do like the second panel there. Yeah, this is really getting gross. Maybe I should block your view. No? Are you sure? Okay, you asked for it. Swollen Sonic. That was gross as I thought it was gonna be, honestly. But anyway, next panel, love it. Antoine, you know, is getting ready to get back into Nahol, not realizing that he brought along a certain Pseudo-Sonic. So anyway, yeah, Pseudo-Sonic is just brought in. Everyone's freaking out because, you know, one of Eggman's robots is just brought in, or you know, Antoine's brought in one of Robotnik's robots. Yeah, you get the idea. Anyway, Pseudo-Sonic is getting ready to tell Robotnik the location of the Nahol. I love the little fourth wall breakage here with Antoine. Give me a break! It was dark. It was drawn in silhouette. Again, I apologize to my French viewers as poor French. Anyway, yeah. Unfortunately, signal gets cut out because of technical difficulties. Thanks to Tails' quick thinking, using static electricity to short out Pseudo-Sonic. I love how they also reference Rotor's previous name was Boomer at one point. Or, you know, Rotor's name was Boomer at one point, and yeah, they just put a replacement sign with Rotor written on it. It's kind of funny. Anyway, Sonic is getting back to regular normal. It's getting back to normal and all, but Robotnik finds him pretty much in a weakened state, so, you know, that's not good. Rotor is studying Pseudo-Sonic, and, well, things aren't looking too hot for Sonic as Robotnik is ready to destroy him. But then Bunny comes in for the save, and tosses Robotnik right back into Robotropolis. He sees that. Pseudo-Sonic is then trashed. You know the drill. And that's that. So Pseudo-Sonic. I guess now is a good time as I need to get into Pseudo-Sonic for a moment. Turn down this bit. So Pseudo-Sonic. He actually, so funny enough, this guy doesn't appear again for a long time. Like, I mean, Ian Flynn era, long time. It's kind of weird considering, you know, how popular Metal Sonic is these days. That we don't get to see, you know, this guy pop up again. But anyway, what's the point? I don't know. What is the point? Angelo Desere, Damonac. Sonic's. So, you know, Sonic's pick some flowers for Sonic, for Sally, rather. Yeah, Sonic's picking some flowers for Sonic. He picks flowers for Sally, and some forget-me-nots, but unfortunately, you know, he runs a little too fast. Until a bird drops on his head. A Mobian Needlebird, as Sonic calls it. Sonic decides to bring the little guy some berries. and tries to convince, and brings a thing back to, back to Naho, but Sally is not having any of it. Basically because, a lot of these pets turn out to be robots by Robotnik, how it is. So she's not taking any chances. But unfortunately, and as if things couldn't get any worse, little guy basically eats the needleberry birthday cake, which basically pisses off Sally even more. Kinda sad as you can probably guess, but as if things couldn't get any worse, Sally gets attacked by a robot tree. Robotnik's watching. Hey Snelly, how's it going? Things aren't looking so good. Sonic can't find which tree is the tree that, is the robot, but, gets saved by the bird. Sonic does his Sonic thing. Robotnik comes in with a freeze ray, only to then get shot on quite literally by egged on by the needle bird. Then gets poked. Sally decides, you know what, maybe we can make this guy an honorary member of the Freedom Fighters. And yeah. Freeze frame, last issue. Oh my god, man, this is... God, these early issues are all over the place, aren't they? I can't wait until I get into some things I can actually talk about. Anyway, Angelo Desare, and Dave Manak, the usual. Revenge of the Nerds! I love the name, even though it's not really revenge. I love this issue because it does introduce the Nerbs, a group that we will never see until, again, the Ian Flynn era, when they become allies to Robotnik, of all things. I have seen Stranger Things, and I did not expect that. Anyway, so the group are kind of just hanging out. Rotor finds some wires, snaps it, activates a force field, leading to Robotnik to come in and, leading to a bunch of Swapbots to come and claim their capture prize, which I do like how, Tails calls them the Robotropolis Good Neighbor Society. Love the irony in that statement. Anyway, they get meet up with this little fella. This fella by the name of a Nerb, which I will now refer to him as Nerble. Anyway, Nerble takes the Freedom Fighters to his city. Unwillingly, I should say, because they just kind of forced him to do it. Nerb King basically does not like the idea of having outsiders in his city because, all sorts of stuff is happening above ground, and it's basically a headache. Sonic tries to convince the Nerbs to work together with the Freedom Fighters, but Nerbs are like, nah, get out. So yeah, their base is kicked out. Sonic and his friends get to a vault. Unfortunately, this vault seems to smell something putrid. Sonic goes in alone and soon finds Robotnik up to no good, of course, with a sort of big drill bot. And a swap bot is working. And unfortunately, more Nerbs have me captured by one of his force fields. Sonic gets spotted by Robotnik. Typical fight, you know the drill. Get it? You know the drill. Sonic uses Robotnik's drill against him to destroy the force field, freeing the Nerbs. Unfortunately, they're not very appreciative. For his help. So, Sonic basically forces them out of you know, just basically forces them into a wheelbarrow and just, you know, tries to get them home, I guess you can say. Gets some, Sonic meets up with the Freedom Fighters, before Sonic heads to basically a, you know, the Mobius River Dam, I imagine it's called. So basically, he opens up the floodgates, and okay, this is something I could talk about real quick. So right here, in this first panel of this page, you'll notice the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So at the time of Archie Sonic's run, Archie owned the license to the TMNT comic book series. It's a shorter series. I could probably go over that one because it's not as many issues, and it's batshit insane as well. Like, I actually kind of enjoy it. I think y'all enjoy it as well. But yeah, it's something I'm considering. Anyway, Sonic gets out after flooding the sewers and essentially raises Robotropolis, and then later Robotnik just literally kicking him out. Sonic becomes an honorary NERB, and yep, that's it. Okay. Next one, and this is, I believe, the last story. Twan with the Wind. Antoine invites the Freedom Fighters onto his hot air balloon, as, you know, you'll notice that Antoine's also being written now with gratuitous French. Buzz Bomber notices the hot air balloon and decides, you know what, we're going to poke it with our stingers, dropping the Freedom Fighters onto a tree. Antoine really is, you know, Antoine is now starting to feel a little, you know, deflated, like his balloon. Buzz Bombers come in. Here we actually see more, actually what can be considered probably the closest we'll see to Sad AM Robotnik, you know, with the evil bird and all. And of course Snively. Hello Snively yet again. I forget what they're doing now, but basically Robotnik is playing something, you know the drill. Antoine is feeling a little down because of the fact that his whole, you know, his hot air balloon just kind of became, you know, kaput. But anyway, Freedom Fighters are preparing their, you know, their annual picnic until suddenly Robotnik shows up with a rhino, a robot rhino. Kind of a badass. I kind of want to see that more often. Antoine to the rescue. He comes in with his hot air balloon. Splashes some mud on the Buzz Bombers to get them out of the way, and then starts raining down a bunch of sandbags onto the swap bots. Grabs Robotnik, drops him, and you know, that's basically the end of it. It's a fairly simple story. Okay, so oh god, what do I even say? That was a lot. So yeah, that was quite a bit. These earlier stories don't really have a lot to them. There is a bit of intrigue to them, of course. You know, these are funny stories, to be sure. I like them. They're fun, but yeah, these earlier stories are very, very hard to get through because there's not really a whole lot going on. But don't worry, do not worry. There will be more to come. There will be actual story to come soon, I promise. Just hang in there. But yeah, this ends basically what's considered the first arc of Sonic the Hedgehog Archie comic, because the next set of issues that I'm going to be planning out will actually include something a bit more. It's gonna be exciting to watch, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this set of comics. Dale needs to lie down because I feel deflated now. Anyway, so yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed me going through this. Next time we meet, we'll be going through the next set of issues, which is basically the Cosmic Interstate arc, according to the reading list I'm looking at. So yeah, next time we meet, we'll be going through that. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.